Hello, winners! Big news for Kentucky. Some recruits are on the radar, and that's very good news. Before you watch the full video, subscribe to the channel to get more updates. BBN. This year is different with our friend Pope. The latest proof that he is a different kind of coach came with the scholarship offered to point guard Crowe Jr., a five-star recruit already considered one of the top prospects in the class of 2026. This offer is not just a reflection of Crowe's quality, but also a clear indication of Pope's ambition and long-term vision for the Kentucky program. Crowe Jr. is a name that is already resonating strongly in the high school basketball scene. Crowe has stood out as one of the best in his class, securing a consensus top 10 national position. His on-court prowess has not gone unnoticed by major recruiting services, which hold him in high regard. While 247 sports and rivals rank him as the fifth best player in his class, On3 and ESPN place him seventh. These rankings highlight Crowe's versatility, with most services labeling him as a pure point guard, while On3 describes him as a combo guard, emphasizing his ability to play multiple positions on the perimeter. Kentucky's decision to extend an offer to Crowe Jr. is not a surprise, but reflects the excellent work of our coach. And there are more guys after him, like UCLA, USC, Arizona, and Alabama already on his trail. Wildcats is showing that it not only intends to compete, but to lead. Crowe's presence on Kentucky's target list reinforces Pope's commitment to bringing the best talents to Lexington, solidifying the future of the program at a time when college basketball is constantly evolving. It's important to note that Crowe joins a select group of recruits from the class of 2026 who have already received offers from Kentucky. Names like Tyron Stokes, Brandon McCoy, Caleb Holt, Mik Murin, and Talon Kinney are also on Pope's radar, demonstrating that the Wildcats are building a solid and diverse foundation for the coming years. This strategy is not just about accumulating talent, but about ensuring that Kentucky has the right kind of players to sustain its success in the long run. With Mark Pope, the Wildcats are not just focused on the present, but are also carefully planning for the future. The offer to Crowe Jr. reflects this planning, showing that Kentucky is willing to invest in the promises of high school basketball with an eye toward developing and maximizing the potential of these young athletes. Crowe, with his combination of skill, game vision, and growth potential, fits perfectly into the profile of player that Pope wants to shape and transform into a college basketball star. Crowe Jr.'s trajectory will be closely watched by all major programs in the country, but Kentucky's offer places the Wildcats in a strong position in this race. The tradition of the program, combined with the new vision of Mark Pope, makes everything different and very interesting in this team to come play and do something new. The future looks bright for Kentucky, and recruits like Crowe are the key to that continued success. Let's go forward. And Nate Aits. How are things going with this guy? The recent postponement of five-star forward Nate Aits' visit to Lexington might have stirred some nervousness among Kentucky Wildcats fans, but this news shouldn't be seen as a cause for alarm, rather as a natural part of the high-level recruiting process in college basketball. It hasn't worked out yet, but remember, we have Pope. His skill in identifying and attracting exceptional talent is leading a concentrated effort to secure the best players for the class of 2025, and Aits is clearly part of this strategic plan. Nate Aits is one of the most sought-after names in the current high school basketball scene. The player from Manassas, Virginia, is the prototype of what is expected from a modern stretch four. A player with the height and wingspan to act as a power forward, but with the mobility and shooting ability to stretch the defense and create space on the perimeter. This combination of physical and technical attributes has made Aits a priority target not only for Kentucky, but also for other programs. Aits' decision to delay his visit to Kentucky, originally scheduled to begin on August 28th, doesn't change the fact that the Wildcats remain one of the most attractive options for him. Coach Pope and his team have consistently demonstrated that they know how to build strong and lasting relationships with their recruits, and this pause in Aits's visit may actually provide the Kentucky team an opportunity to refine their approach further. After all, recruiting elite talent is often a marathon, not a sprint. This postponement comes at a time when Kentucky is about to secure another major commitment. Jasper Johnson, another five-star forward from the class of 2025, is reportedly on his way to committing to the Wildcats, which would be a significant boost for the program. The combination of Johnson and Aits, should both choose Kentucky, would form a solid foundation for the class of 2025, with Pope aiming to build a team that can compete for the national championship. The pursuit of these recruits demonstrates that Pope is not just after players with raw talent, but rather pieces that can complement each other and form a cohesive and competitive team. The Kentucky basketball brand, known for producing NBA stars and dominating the college scene, continues to be a significant draw for these young players. For Wildcats fans, the key word here is postponed, not canceled. There's still a great chance that Aits will visit the Kentucky campus soon, and when that happens, Pope and his team will have a golden opportunity to convince him that Lexington is the ideal place for him to develop his game and prepare for the next level. Kentucky's track record of player development, combined with Mark Pope's vision for the future of the program, will certainly weigh heavily in Aits's decision. I think he might still come to the blue team, and as we've already discussed, Mik Murin is going to show up here at the Wildcats. The weekend of September 14th is significant news that may have far-reaching implications for the future of the program under the leadership of Mark Pope. The Finnish power forward, ranked as one of the top prospects in the class of 2026, is quickly becoming a standout name in the high school basketball scene. And his decision to include Kentucky in his list of official visits reflects the growing appeal of the Wildcats program. Mik Murin, who had an impressive performance at the Nike Peach Jam, where he averaged nearly 18 points per game, is emerging as one of the most versatile and promising players of his class. With a stature and skill set that make him a dominant presence in the paint, Murin combines refined technique with an athleticism that places him among the best power forwards of his age group. The recruiting service rankings reflect this, while 247 Sports places him as the 44th overall prospect and the 9th power forward. On3 views him even more optimistically, ranking him as the 10th best player in the country. Murin's decision to schedule an official visit to Kentucky on the weekend of one of the most anticipated football games of the season, against Georgia, is something to keep an eye on. These visit weekends are strategically planned by recruiting teams to impress recruits not just with the basketball program, but with the entire experience and culture of a university that lives and breathes sports. With such a significant event on the calendar, Kentucky will have the opportunity to show Murin what makes the Wildcats one of the leading names in basketball. Murin's visit is also significant in the context of Mark Pope's recent recruiting victories. With the signing of Malachi Moreno and the near arrival of Jasper Johnson, the Wildcats seem to be building a 2026 class that could define the future of the program for years. Adding Murin to this class will confirm how interesting and strategic our team is with Pope's work. Even though Murin has other visits scheduled, including to Utah and Duke, Kentucky's position in the midst of these visits may stand out. Lexington offers a unique combination of tradition, athletic excellence, and a passionate fan base, factors that often influence recruits' final decisions. Moreover, Mark Pope's approach to player development is something that many young athletes, like Murin, consider when making their decision. Pope is not just building a team to compete next year. He is creating an environment that prepares his players for long-term success, both at the collegiate level and in the NBA. And the BBN is rooting for him to join this team. Jasper Johnson's decision on where he will continue his collegiate basketball career is set for September 5th, and we're hoping he comes to Kentucky. Ranked as the 10th best overall player in the class of 2025 by the 247 Sports Composite, Johnson is one of the most coveted talents in the country, and several schools are vying for his signature. Alabama, Louisville, North Carolina, Arkansas, and, of course, the Kentucky Wildcats. In recent months, the competition for Johnson has intensified, with Kentucky and Alabama emerging as the frontrunners to land the forward. However, in the weeks leading up to his decision, the buzz around Kentucky has grown considerably. With Mark Pope at the helm, the Wildcats have positioned themselves as an increasingly attractive choice for Johnson, especially with the program's solid reputation for player development and a tradition of success. The fact that Johnson will announce his decision at Woodford County High School in Versailles, just 30 minutes from the Kentucky campus, is a detail many see as a good omen for the Wildcats. The school's proximity to the university, coupled with the unmatched passion of Kentucky's fan base, suggests that Johnson may be inclined to stay in his home state, opting to don the iconic blue jersey of the Wildcats. Johnson's decision was initially set for this week, but his move to overtime elite postponed his announcement to after Labor Day weekend. This shift, however, has not dampened the excitement surrounding his choice. In fact, it may have given Kentucky even more time to strengthen their case and ensure that Johnson feels secure and valued when considering his future in Lexington. If Johnson opts for Kentucky, it would be another significant triumph for Mark Pope and his staff, who have already secured important recruiting victories recently. Adding Johnson would not only bolster Kentucky's 2025 class, but also send a powerful message to other recruits and the college basketball world. The Wildcats remain a force to be reckoned with, capable of attracting the best talents and competing for the national title year after year. The event on September 5th promises to be an exciting moment for BBN. Kentucky fans, known for their unparalleled dedication and passion, will undoubtedly be present in large numbers at Woodford County High School to support Johnson and cheer for him to choose the Wildcats. Regardless of the outcome, the ceremony will be a reminder of the importance of basketball in Kentucky and the lasting impact that decisions like Johnson's can have on the program's future. For Mark Pope, securing Jasper Johnson's commitment would be more than just adding an elite player to the roster. It would confirm that his vision for the future of the Kentucky Wildcats is on the right track. With Johnson on the team, Kentucky could take a significant step towards returning to the top of college basketball, continuing the tradition of excellence that defines the program. As we've discussed, Jasper on this team would be very good. Since the surprising departure of John Calipari to Arkansas, the Kentucky Wildcats basketball program has undergone a swift and significant transition. Within just 3 days, Kentucky's administration acted swiftly to hire Mark Pope, entrusting him with the responsibility of leading one of the most prestigious programs in college basketball. The task ahead was not small. Pope had to assemble a team virtually from scratch, bringing together transfer players from various parts of the country and freshmen who had never donned the Wildcats blue jersey. The current scenario at Kentucky is, to say the least, unusual. Of the 12 scholarship players on the roster, none played for Kentucky last season, and only one of them had previously worked with Pope. This situation could easily result in a disjointed and divided team. But surprisingly, the opposite is true. Mark Pope has managed to create an environment where the focus on learning and adaptability has been key, something the coach himself highlighted in his recent statements. In an interview with NABC, Pope revealed that, contrary to what might be expected from such a heterogeneous group full of experienced players, the athletes are proving incredibly receptive to new instructions and strategies. Sometimes you have veteran players and they're less malleable and less coachable, and they kind of did what they did, and they do what they do, and they're less responsive, explained Pope. What has been surprising, these guys have been incredibly willing to just grab any instruction and really run with it. It's really wonderful to see these veteran guys and how excited they are to grow and learn. This willingness to learn and adapt is especially important in an environment where the team is completely new. The NCAA, now allowing summer practices, offered Pope a crucial opportunity to integrate his players into his tactical system and allow them to familiarize themselves with each other. And despite the inherent difficulties of a process like this, the initial results have been promising. Crowe, one of the team's point guards, acknowledged the challenge of forming a cohesive team from so many new pieces, but also highlighted the importance of the summer training period. "I mean, it's challenging," Crowe admitted to the Lexington Herald leader. "That's why we have the summer. If we didn't have the summer, it would be super difficult." This statement echoes the sentiment of many players, who see the extra training time as essential to creating mutual understanding on the court. Kobe Brea, another standout player, also emphasized the crucial role of Pope's system in building team chemistry. "I think we're meshing very, very well," Brea told the Lexington Herald leader. "I think the system that the coach has in place for us really helps us create a bond faster than usual. Just because, we have to play against each other and really learn to read each other's minds and stuff like that." These observations indicate that, despite the unusual circumstances, Mark Pope is successfully implementing his vision. He is making the most of the training time and resources at his disposal to shape a team that, though new, seems to be quickly adapting to his guidelines. The fact that veteran players are so willing to learn and try new things is an encouraging sign that Kentucky could surprise in the upcoming season. The challenge now is to turn this initial progress into concrete results when the regular season begins. The SEC and the NCAA tournament will be the ultimate test for this group, and we are moving forward strong and steady. In football, Coach Mark Stoops, who recently met with the press to discuss the opening game against Southern Mississippi, made it clear that his team is ready to face the challenges ahead. The Wildcats' debut will take place this Saturday. Stoops, in his remarks, highlighted the excitement he feels seeing the season finally begin. "We've talked throughout the offseason, but being here today makes you realize that the season has arrived," he said, signaling the transition from preparation to execution on the field. This is a crucial moment for Kentucky, which hopes to build on recent successes and continue its rise in the competitive landscape of college football. A central topic of the press conference was the team's ongoing adaptation to changes in offensive leadership. This will be the 5th consecutive season that the Wildcats will have a new offensive coordinator, an aspect that could be seen as a disadvantage, but which Stoops views optimistically. The introduction of new technologies, such as direct communication between the quarterback and coaches, was mentioned as one of the innovations that could help smooth this transition and enhance team performance. Stoops also addressed the current roster situation, especially regarding the depth of defensive positions. He acknowledged that fans might see many players listed as potential starters or in the secondary, but he assured that this is due to the coaching staff's confidence in several athletes in that position. This flexibility, according to Stoops, will be a strength for the Wildcats' defense. Additionally, despite concerns about injuries on the defensive line, the head coach expressed confidence in the team's ability to adapt and maintain a high level of competitiveness. Another positive aspect highlighted by Stoops was the experience and talent of the wide receiver group. With a receiver room that combines skill and field experience, the Wildcats hope to rely on a dynamic and efficient aerial attack. This combination of experience and new additions could be a differentiator for Kentucky throughout the season. An important point raised by Stoops was the absence of Cortland Ford, who was in contention for the starting right tackle position. The spot ultimately went to Gerald Mincey, a transfer from Tennessee. Ford's absence is a setback, but Mincey's quick adaptation to the Wildcat system is an encouraging sign that the offensive line is ready to protect the quarterback and open spaces for the ground game. Mark Stoops also mentioned the importance of matching the excitement of the fans, who are eager for a successful season. "Now we just have to win," Stoops stated, acknowledging the expectations surrounding the Kentucky program and the pressure to deliver results. As the countdown to the season opener continues, Stoops' words serve to further heighten enthusiasm around the team. Kentucky is aiming for its 9th consecutive victory in season openers, a feat that would reinforce the Wildcats' position as a force to be reckoned with in the SEC. The intense preparation and confidence shown by Stoops and his team indicate that Kentucky is ready to face the challenge. Let's win. Will you watch the game? Comment below with your score prediction.